would like to be my kung fu recorder? The way Rhodes Island treats its guests truly moves me. It is no wonder my sisters love this place so much. I misunderstand? No problem. I have no qualms with being your subordinate either. Doctor, your title reminds me of the Yanese scholars. Experienced and knowledgeable. They see the forest for the trees. You feel like we have met before? It's true that after awakening from my dream of chaos, I have traveled to many places. Sadly, the more friends I make, the lonelier I feel. Perhaps we are alike in that respect. As you can see, I note down only my experiences and insights, rather than any specific kung fu moves. What really matters to the martial arts is Yi, your intent. If you let yourself be constrained by those gaudy forms, you will find it hard to break out of them. Take Dusk's paintings, for example. If I couldn't grasp the intent behind them and sought to discuss techniques and styles with her, she would only shut the door on my face. I agreed to be a fight choreographer for Nian's movie. It keeps her from making too much of a racket or getting too lonely. Dusk is timid, and Ling is too fond of drink. I will look after them as well. We are far from a normal family. Nevertheless, we are siblings, and not the collective we, as we are often called. Death is a daily occurrence to warriors on campaign, but the real challenge they face is preserving their humanity and morality after facing such morbidity, rather growing jaded and desensitized. Indeed, conflicts and mortality have been the way of these lands for eons, but only those giant, terrible creatures are cold-hearted enough to think so. The world is a vast place, and wonderful sceneries abound. Yet man has limited strength and time. It is impossible to see all these sights, much less defend them. To those who practice the martial arts, all we can do is train day and night, from the depths of winter to the height of summer. It may sound like a clumsy and brutish method, but the result is giving every last drop you have, leaving no regrets. That sword is an unwanted possession that must not be cast away. Why Tianpei, keeping it is an outcome that all concerned parties can accept. My duel with him, you ask? He trained for 40 years and landed a single heavy blow on me. But how many comings and goings of spring and autumn have I trained? All things considered, I was the one who lost. Who am I? For this question, you need only gaze upon the water. Be it human, beast, mountains, foggy woods, or the reflection of the twin moons on the night sky, whatever it is you see, that is your answer. As for the distant, radically different future, whether we siblings will return to chaos and seek new answers is an entirely different question. The scholars at court seek perfect answers in everything. The kung fu practitioners who wander in Jianghu seek revenge, status, glory, or a simple resolution. Their obsessions run deep, yet their time runs short. Often they spend their whole lifetimes chasing a single ideal or undertaking. Hey, all those people. How woeful and pitiful. How respectable and regrettable. The spring comes and goes, leaving a lonely autumn. Doctor, thank you kindly for taking care of my sisters. I hope you will excuse me for intruding upon Rhodes Island for a little while. Please call me Chongyue. It's a name given to me by an old friend of mine. The colors that once embellished the autumn grass, hues long buried by war. Often I think about those soldiers who traveled from all corners of Great Yan to Umen. They risked their lives in battle until death took them, or their age crept upon themselves. Yet never for their own ends. Battles we have fought, death we have braved. Doctor, no need to say more. Lit, quenched, then lit again. The signal fires never ever rest. In that case, Doctor, will you beat the drums for me as we sortie? The sunset weaves a silken river. Heaven and earth bolster me upon departure. Warriors from afar rest scarce. The armor they wear spurs them to march. One should spar from time to time. At your command. Look at this spectacular sight. Alas, it is now a battlefield. Many intellectuals must join a battle before penning a decent verse, including that sister of mine. This too is an opportunity. Unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet. 1,000 moves in one breath. Strike, and sunder the tides cleft. Retract, and leave no peace bereft. After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. You calmly place your pieces to plot your victory. Doctor, a Weiqi player like you is a truly rare sight. 1,000 armies move at the beating of your war drums, with a handful of sand to clean the blood from one's armor. What a tremendous victory! There is never a true victory in brandishing a sword and formulating a strategy, while looking for gains and losses is an even greater folly. So long as you leave no regrets, then all is well. All warriors must face defeat. Don't lose heart. This is much more comfortable than a military tent. Can I even manage a good night's sleep without the sound of drilling soldiers? Doctor, have you figured out how to counter that move from yesterday? The times are changing, and man along with them. So too does the scenery change. Arknights. Doctor, I did not see you at this morning's training session.
I can offer you protection and even handle a little business for you. But you'd better prove it's worth my time. Rhodes Island's work in Lungmen will remain confidential, but I know that your actions saved lives. I've spent a long time trying to gauge just how trustworthy Rhodes Island really is. As for my conclusion, I trust you had no trouble setting up your office in Lungmen. I'm sure you've been working with Mr. Lee. You can trust the information you get from him. But there are limits to what a private investigator can do. If you need something outside his purview, you come to me. Don't worry. My methods won't send any trouble Rhodes Island's way. I just saw Swire here. It surprised me how she was working so hands-on. If we'd followed the dreams we had as kids, she would have become the head of Lungmen's Chamber of Commerce. And I might be a university lecturer right now. 真係世事難料. No, I don't need to say hello. Given her status, it would be inappropriate for us to be seen in public. The coat my father always wears is a birthday present I gave him. I'm so used to the dignified airs he puts on. Sometimes I even forget that. Underneath the coat is an old man growing frailer by the day. Sooner or later, someone will have to stand up and take the weight off his shoulders. To certain people, the slums are a problem that needs to be solved. To others, this is their home. The shift from slums to downtown could take generations to settle. I don't know how far I can carry it myself, but I'll do what I can. I've never seen Chen on board Rhodes Island. She has things to do, doesn't she? Hardly see any merit in recruiting operators like her. It's true that we don't get along very well. But I must admit, she is the one who showed me a different path. I had nothing to do, so I trimmed the potted plant on your desk a little. No matter how busy life is, we can't forget our aesthetics. Why are you so surprised? The 4 arts, flower arrangement, tea ceremony, they were all part of my education. You would never have guessed? Shinso, the nightscape here is very different from my childhood memories. Longmen may be advancing by the day, but it still has its unlit corners. How about we go for a drink together? You can't truly know a city until you've visited its streets during the wee hours. You can't let them see you exhausted, can you? You and I have probably crossed paths before, Doctor. But we finally found time for a formal introduction. There'll be much more done on the problems the infected face in the Lungmen slums, now that we're working in direct communication. There are many ways to deal with trouble, and direct confrontation is usually my last choice. I sometimes attend ceremonies like these, just to make things go smoother. I don't remember how many titles I have, but in the end, I always have to return to the shadows. I know what I'm doing, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, not all honors need to be made public, and not all roads need to be trod together. You tell me your ends, just don't ask me my means. If any of you have any doubts about the target, this is your last chance to pull out. I hope I won't have to explain to you what we mean by necessary methods. It's time to make an example. They'll see what happens when they break the rules. Got it. 冇需多講. Watch the shadow behind you. Let's put them 6 feet under. You didn't think. So this is what happens when you cross the line. You want to talk? Too late for that. Give me a reason to let you go. Don't have one? What a pity. Shatter into pieces. It better remain a secret forever. Clean, decent. No one will ever find their remains. The situation is still salvageable. Leave the rest to me. There is always a way to correct a mistake. Don't let anger get the best of you. I don't need too much room here, but this place could use some decoration. You'll need an explanation for what you just did. Boloyao, fresh out of the oven. Want one? Arknights. I hope you didn't run into any trouble, Doctor.